Alright, so this is Mr. Harper again, and I just wanted to go over a few things that we went over this week. So we talked about solving quadratic equations, and remember an equation is when we have the equal sign, and so I wanted to go over the different ways. And so in this one, I'm going to talk about solving by factoring, and I went ahead and wrote the 3 steps here, and I just want to walk through each step and then kind of how to do each one. So the first step, anytime you're wanting to solve a quadratic, and so here's a quadratic, and we're wanting to solve by factoring. The first thing we need to do is get it in standard form, and I'm gonna, oops, didn't want to do that. Let me get the pen here. First thing I want to do is get it in standard form. And what standard form is when we have everything on the left here, so ax squared plus bx plus c, excuse me, and 0 on the right. So the first thing we want to do here, and so this is the problem we're going to deal with, and actually on the other 2 videos I'm going to do in regards to using solving by completing the square and by the quadratic formula, I'm also going to use this equation. That way you can see we really get the same answer no matter what method we use. But the first thing we need to do is get it into this form, and the way we're going to do that is by moving this 10 over here. And the way we do that is just by subtracting 10. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to subtract 10 over here and subtract 10 over here. This cancels, and I'm left with 0 on the right. Now notice this is not a like term, so we can't combine them, so we just have to write it all out. So 6x squared, sorry, for some reason I'm still not understanding this little tool I'm using here completely, plus 11x minus 10. Okay, so that was the first step. We got that over here. The second step is to factor. And now, if you don't know how to factor this, then you definitely, I'm going to kind of walk through it, and so hopefully this will help. I'm trying to figure out what color I want to use here. Let's try this yellow. Okay, so we want to factor. Now, always the first step when you're factoring is trying to find a GCF. Here we do not have a GCF, and so because we have this leading coefficient that's not 1, we want to go ahead, first I'm going to go ahead and draw my 2 parentheses. So I draw my 2 parentheses. And then I'm going to draw my little x here. So I'm going to draw my x, or my cross, or however you want to say this. What goes up top is a, or that first term, times c. So 6 times negative 10 is negative 60. And what goes on the bottom here is that middle term, so it's 11. And then what I figure out is what multiplies to give me negative 60 and adds to give me 11. So let's think about it. I can do, you know, negative 10 and 6, but that doesn't add to give me 11. Let's see, 5 and 12, yeah, but I'm still trying to think actually, because I'm not sure what multiplies to give me negative 60. So let's go over here. So some negative 60, what multiplies to give me negative 60? So we can do, say we said negative 6 and 10, but that doesn't work. Let's see, 2 and 30, but that doesn't give me 11. 3 and 20. Okay, no matter which one's negative here, that's not going to give me 11. Does 4 go into it? How many times does 4 go into this? 15 times. Oh, 15. Oops. So 15 and 4 actually would work here. But if I'm trying to get a positive 11, and remember I'm trying to get a negative 60, then that means that it would have to be positive 15, negative 4. Why is it doing this? Sorry guys, I'm trying my best to use this material. That's fine. So we're going to have a 15 here and a negative 4 here. Now before we start putting this in here though, what we need to do with this term and this term is divide it by the leading coefficient, or by the a here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this by 6. And divide this by 6. So no, this is a 4. Okay, so 4 over 6, or negative 4 over 6, and then we got to simplify. And let me use a different color here to simplify. So if I simplify this fraction, I get, 3 can go into both of those, so I get 5 over 3. And then if I simplify this, I get negative 2 over 3. And now what I do, once I do this, so again, I've multiplied a times c to put that here. I put the middle term here. I figure out what multiplies to give me negative 60 and adds to give me 11, which in this case is 15 and negative 4. And then I divide those by the leading number and simplify the fraction. So I did that. Now the bottom goes in the front, so we have 3 here with x. The top goes in the back. Bottom goes in the front. Top goes in the back. Oh, sorry, I did that backwards. I feel like I did something wrong here. Oh yeah, I did. Hold on one second. What did I do wrong? Sorry, my brain is just not working. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back here. See, it's okay, we all make mistakes. So if I divide this by 3, I get 5. But if I divide this by 3, I get 2, not 3. Sorry, that's where I made a mistake at. Okay, and we get negative 2 over 3 here. Okay, I thought I made a mistake. So this becomes 2x plus 5. And this becomes 3x minus 2. And again, I'm getting this from here. The bottom number goes in the front with the x, the top number goes in the back. And then the last thing I do, let me scroll down just a little bit here. The last thing I'm going to do is set each one of these equal to 0. So I'm going to take 2x plus 5, equal to 0. And then I'm going to take 3x minus 2, equal to 0. So let's here, we would subtract 5 from both sides. And again, I'm just solving for x here. So we get 2x equals negative 5. And then divide by 2. And we get x equals negative 5 over 2. Same thing here, add 2 to both sides. We get 3x equals 2. And divide by 3. And we get x equals 2/3. So we get x equals 2/3 and x equals negative 5 over 2. And this is our solution. So, and again, just to remind you, anytime you're solving by factoring, you want to get in standard form here, factor, and then say each one equal to 0 and solve. And again, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, I apologize for making my mistake. But again, we all do it. And hopefully you learned something.